Hello party people, and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to prove that Nicole Kessinger drove to work and drove home from work on Interstate 25 every single day. So why are anti-NKers still saying Kessinger took the longer, slower route to work rather than the shorter, fastest way? And why are they still saying that the reason Kessinger's phone pinged on this tower in Frederick was because Kessinger was at Chris's house at 6:16 a.m. that Monday morning? A cell phone tower can have a range of up to 43 miles, and there are very few towers north of Frederick, so that tower near Chris's house is a long-range tower. This means Kessinger could have been anywhere along I-25 when she called Jim that morning. The reason Kessinger called Jim was because Jim was out of town, and he was coming into town and meeting Kessinger at her apartment later on. Jim got into town later that day, and Kessinger did in fact meet Jim at her apartment when Kessinger got home from work, just like Kessinger said she did. If the anti-NKers have proof that this isn't true, then when are they going to show us their proof? Now, these anti-NKers say that Kessinger had never pinged that tower at that time of day before, so according to them, this is their proof that Kessinger was at Chris's house. What? The discovery only provides Kessinger phone bills for 3 months. So how would 3 months of billing prove that Kessinger never, ever, in her entire Anadarko work career, made a call before that pinged that tower during the 6 a.m. hour while she was driving to work? Now, Chris's neighbor Betty said that she thought she saw 2 trucks parked on the street that morning. Betty said the truck was still there at 6:45 a.m. and still there at noontime.
How long was the truck sitting there?
I saw it yesterday morning around 5:15 a.m. because I go to the gym then.
Okay.
It was still there when I got back at 6:45, and then it was there around, I think, noontime.
Well, why is this second truck never seen on Nate's camera then? If the truck was still there at noontime, then why didn't Nicole Atkinson see this truck when she arrived at Chris's house with the other woman at 12:02 p.m.?
Anything on that today?
Just a friend.
And what time was that?
12:10, and about 10 minutes afternoon.
Clearly, Betty is not confused about what she saw. She's confused about when she saw it. And clearly, the anti-NKers are mentally confused about what they heard Betty say. Betty said the vehicle that she saw was steel gray in color and had no markings on it.
It was kind of almost a steel gray.
Okay.
Don't ask me to make
Okay.
year, but that was late afternoon.
Any markings or stickers or anything that would be weird?
What Betty is describing is Baumhover's unmarked vehicle, because Baumhover's vehicle was steel gray, and it had no markings on the vehicle, just like Betty said. Betty said that the vehicle was there late in the afternoon.
Year, but that was late afternoon.
Baumhover only arrived late in the afternoon, and at 2:35 p.m. Then Betty said that the steel gray vehicle with no markings on it was gone before the marked police vehicles left. And Betty was right.
Okay.
And the reason I mention it is it was gone by the time you guys left yesterday.
Betty's right, because Baumhover left at 3:45 p.m., and the 3 marked cop vehicles that Betty saw were all parked in front of Betty's house, and all 3 marked cop cars left at 5:30 p.m. So Baumhover was indeed gone before the 3 marked cop cars left, just like Betty said. Betty also said that the steel gray vehicle was parked by her tree, And this is exactly where Baumhover's steel gray cop vehicle was indeed
That's
parked.
when I noticed the little truck.
Okay, and where was it? Was it in the driveway or on the street?
No, it was on the street. It was between the two houses, right about in front of my tree, you know.
He said it's a little truck or the,
It's a smaller truck than what's normally there.
okay, like that size or smaller?
No, maybe that size.
Maybe that size? Okay.
No camper.
And that was
Betty said the truck parked by her tree had no camper shell on it, and Baumhover's vehicle has no camper shell. But oh no! Anti-NKers say it was Kessinger's steel gray truck parked there from 5:15 a.m. until noontime that day. They say there were witnesses who saw it, yet they cannot produce even one witness. Anti-NKers posted pictures of Kessinger's steel gray truck to bolster their silly story that it was Kessinger's truck parked there that morning. They say Kessinger sold her truck right after the murders because Kessinger's truck was involved. How does Kessinger selling her truck prove Kessinger was involved in the murders? Don't ask an anti-NKer this, because they won't know. Once again, some anti-NKers posted pictures of Kessinger's steel gray truck to try and convince others that Kessinger's truck was there that morning. And these people say that it was Kessinger's steel gray truck that Betty saw. Apparently Betty is their eyewitness, who saw Kessinger's truck there. But wait! Kessinger's steel gray truck has a white camper shell on it, and Betty clearly said the truck that she saw did not have a camper shell.
No, maybe that size.
maybe that size? Okay.
No camper.
Oops. When the cop was showing Betty a truck to compare the size, Betty looks at this truck you see now. And when Betty said there was no camper, the truck the cop showed had a camper shell on it just like Kessinger's truck had. And Betty clearly said the truck parked in front of her tree had no camper on it like the truck you're looking at right now. It's obvious the anti-NKer crowd cannot get anything right, even after 5 years of reviewing the evidence. Have a think about it, party people. Would you want any of these anti-logical lunatics sitting under jury and deciding your fate? Now, you tell me which route you would take to get to work and back. Would you take the longest, slowest route to make your work day even longer? Or would you take the fastest and shortest route? If Kessinger drives from her apartment on Claude Court to 120 to 85 to Platteville, she must go through one streetlight at Claude Court and 120 Avenue, where she must turn left. So now she has to wait for a green light before she can turn left at the intersection. Then she must drive 6 miles on the 120 surface street that has a speed limit of only 45 miles per hour. There are a total of 14 street lights that she must travel through on 120 Avenue before she reaches Highway 85. Once she finally reaches 85, the speed limit is only 55, 60, and 65 miles per hour at times. Kessinger must go through a total of 22 sets of streetlights before she would reach the 66 and 85 intersection. to 120, down 120 Avenue for only a mile and a half to reach I-25, which has an on-ramp that doesn't require you to even stop. Then drive north on I-25 to 66, where 66 has an off-ramp that doesn't require you to stop. Then to Platteville. Then Kessinger only has to deal with one right turn at the intersection of Claude Court and 120 Avenue, where she can, without delay, immediately turn right on a red light. Then Kessinger only has to go through a total of 7 tiny street lights before reaching the same 66 and 85 intersection in Platteville. The speed limit on I-25 is 75 miles per hour, so you can even do 80 before worrying about getting stopped by a cop for speeding. Every day, Kessinger was able to drive over 30 miles from the intersection at Claude Court, where her apartment was in North Glen, to the first street light on Highway 66 in Longmont, without having to stop even once.
But then they sent me away, teach me how to be sensible, logical, oh, responsible, practical, sensible, logical, oh, responsible, practical, logical, oh, responsible, practical, logical.
So yeah, there you have it. It's beyond logical to anyone but an NKer, which route Kessinger drove to work and back home every single day. Clearly, Kessinger took the shortest, fastest route to work every day, which was I-25. So there you go, party people. I have proven, beyond any doubt, that NK was logically on I-25, driving north on her way to work, when she called Jim at 6:16 a.m. on Monday, August 13th. And anyone following this case from the start would also already know that Kessinger's co-workers were posting online after the murders, and they already said that they saw these in the lunchroom that morning. So no, Kessinger was not at Chris's house at 6:16 a.m. And after 5 long years, the NKers still cannot provide absolutely anything to show that Kessinger was actually at Chris's house that morning. Anadarko also has hundreds of cameras in its parking lot and in its office headquarters. So these cameras would obviously show what time Kessinger arrived at work that morning. Without any proof at all, one money-hungry channel even falsely claims that Kessinger only arrived at work at 2 p.m., then left at 3 p.m. And many of the fake crime channels also claim, without any proof at all, that Kessinger did not clock into work that morning. You can bet that Anadarko has more than one of their 200 cameras pointed directly at the punch clock, because punching someone else's time card is a criminal offense. It's simply embarrassing to see these fake crime channels be referred to as true crime channels. Many NKers from these fake crime channels also claim that they have a petition going that will force the DA or police to investigate Kessinger. Investigate what? But since the DA and police won't do the investigation for them, why don't they show me the proof they want investigated, and I'll do it for them. For free. Now watch these videos to see how a real true crime channel investigates fake allegations. And I'll see you in my next worldwide award-winning video.